All right, we are live. And what are we looking into? American Bitcoin. I came across this beautiful photo and where this word American Bitcoin came across this account American Bitcoin. I was like, what is happening? What is this? We have no idea. All right, let's see. Okay, Bitcoin mining company co founded by Eric Trump in partnership with Hut 8, publicly trading mining firm, launched in March 2025. Okay. Aims to become a major player in Bitcoin mining, leveraging Hut 8's infrastructure for an 80% stake in the company. Okay. Company plans to go public via an all-stock merger with Griffin Digital Mining listing on the Nasdaq. Eric Trump serves as the chief strategy officer with ambitions to create an efficient large-scale Bitcoin accumulation platform. Operates 665 megawatts of capacity and provides hosting services for other miners. Critics, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and Adam Schiff, have raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest due to Trump family's involvement in the broader crypto ventures like World Liberty Financial and the Trump token. Coinbase announces BTC staking. Okay. If Coinbase is getting behind, there's real demand brewing. Bitcoin is more American than the dollar. Whoa. This 24. Parker Lewis, gradually then suddenly available exclusively for sale at the Safe House, head of business development at Zapride, working on Bitcoin payments. If I'm an American, I might diversify into Bitcoin because it is clearly digital fairy dust liquidity sink that's designated by the US government. The key is you have to believe that a Mad Max scenario in America is unlikely. Anyone outside of the US holding the digital fairy dust is taking unmeasurable risk. Watch the idiot trolls. Whoa. We don't. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, we need to look at American Bitcoin. Yes. Let's just go to the page. American Bitcoin right here. All right. Nice logo. The new standard in Bitcoin mining. 33 posts already. All in on Bitcoin. And strategies is MicroStrategy by Michael Saylor. All right, who can we recognize over here? Blau, Michael Blau, I think. That's his name. Winklevoss twins. Kate, Brian Johnson's CTO, CMO. Steve Aoki. Okay, and Eric Trump and wife. Okay, perfect. To many more. Whoa, Cameron Winklevoss. Chief of Staff to Cameron Tyler at Gemini. Justin Blau, right, that's Justin Blau. CEO of Tether, okay. CEO of Meta Planets, Steve Aoki and Tyler. Oh wow, this is really cool that Cameron and Tyler got their names. That is really cool. Okay. Legends. According to a new report from River, the US now holds roughly 40% of global Bitcoin, with nearly 50 million Americans owning Bitcoin versus approximately 37 million Americans owning gold. Will Bitcoin eventually replace gold in America? Wow, 50 million Americans owning Bitcoin. That is crazy. Global Bitcoin superpower. ABTC, American Bitcoin TC. What is TC? Mining company, right? Trading company? Today we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedom. Bitcoin Pizza Day. ABTC takes the stage at Bitcoin 2025. World's largest Bitcoin conference. May 28. Okay. May 28, 2025. Las Vegas. Global Bitcoin Education. Arizona BTC Reserve. Only 8 days until the most important Bitcoin event of the year. Wait, who is this? David Sachs, JD Vance, Michael Saylor, Vivek. Welcome to a new era. What a fun day today. Okay, do we have any announcement over here? All right, right here. We have something from American Bitcoin. Construction seems to have begun. Today we announce our results for Q1 25-year deliberate investment designed to unlock the potential of our development flywheel. Highlights: deployed our upgraded ASIC fleet to end the quarter with 9.3 EH per second at approximately 20 J per TH. I don't know what these numbers are. Launched American BTC to establish a purpose-built mining entity for strategic Bitcoin accumulation. Advanced key infrastructure projects including development at Vega and initial site work at River Bend, with approximately 10,000 of development capacity in a pipeline and 10,000 Bitcoin retained in reserve. We believe we are well positioned, capitalized to execute a 2025 roadmap. Okay. Can't wait. Matt Prusak, CEO American BTC. Okay. Testified today at the Texas Capitol on behalf of American BTC. Support of HB 3970 creates expedited interconnection for Bitcoin miners, serving as flexible load for the ERCOT grid. Miners as digital shock absorbers for Texas electricity. The future isn't just more power, it's smarter power, and the future is being built first in Texas. The Trumps mine Bitcoin inside American Bitcoin with Matt Prusak. America will win the Bitcoin race. Great chat with the mining pod on how American BTC powered by Hut 8 Corp is executing the plan to secure US leadership. The number one podcast in Bitcoin mining, the Mining Pod. World Liberty Fi, Donald Trump. Asher Genoot. Incredible energy and engagement discussing our mission to build the premier Bitcoin miner. ABTC. Proud to announce the table with the caliber of talent. Excited for what's next. Okay, very interesting. Let's look at the website. It is a great honor to partner with Hut 8, a recognized leader in Bitcoin space, as we launch American Bitcoin. By combining Hut 8's proven operational excellence in data centers with our shared passion for Bitcoin and decentralized finance, we are poised to strengthen our foundation and drive significant future growth. The standard we set. Co-founder of World Liberty Financial and long-term crypto advocate, president of Trump Winery, founder of Curetivity, formerly the Eric Trump Foundation, raised more than $50 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and other causes. Okay, interesting. So we couldn't get much out of here. It's pretty new. Okay, tell me more about. I thought they would have like a thread announcing American BTC and kind of the goal of what is happening and exactly, but no specific details. Tell me more about Hut 8. Publicly traded company, Miami, Florida, recognized as one of America's largest and most experienced Bitcoin mining operators, operates as a vertically integrated energy infrastructure platform focusing on Bitcoin mining, high-performance computing, and managed services. Below is a detailed overview. Toronto, Canada, 2017. Before relocating headquarters to Miami, Florida, business spans 4 segments: power, digital infrastructure, computer, and other. Bitcoin mining operates large scale mining facilities holding one of the largest inventories of self mined Bitcoin among publicly traded companies, 10,000. High performance computing provides cloud, co location, and managed services for AI, machine learning, and visual effects rendering through 5 data centers in British Columbia and Ontario. Hmm. Managed services offers energy infrastructure development, including site design, procurement, construction management, and hosting operations for other miners. Manages four power generation assets in Ontario and leverages diverse energy sources to power its operations. Hydro, nuclear, natural gas. Yield programs to enhance the value of its Bitcoin reserves. It emphasizes operational efficiency, cost management, non dilutive growth to maximize shareholder value. Proprietary technology such as its reactor energy curtailment software to optimize mining efficiency. Energy capacity manages 1.02 gigawatts of energy capacity across 20 sites in North America. It has the potential to scale up. I want to know the British Columbia site. Hash rate. Installed hash rate for Bitcoin mining was 18 exahashes per second. Partnered with Bitmain, similar to Batman, Bitmain, to host next generation ASIC miners, potentially increasing its self mining capacity to 20 exahash per second, generating 135 million in annualized hosting revenue. HUD holds 10,000 Bitcoin, making it a leader in Bitcoin reserve accumulation. It adopts a long term holding strategy but may sell Bitcoin for debt management or hardware upgrades. Recent activities include March 25, 65, January 75, December purchased 974. Okay. Repair center maintains a micro BD certified repair center, service tens of thousands of Watts miners, supporting its own operations and third party clients. Recent developments partner with Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. to launch American Bitcoin, a majority owned subsidiary focused on industrial scale Bitcoin mining and building a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Strategic Bitcoin reserve. This seems to be very government focused now. Okay, so it makes sense why they would have criticism, because if government is focusing on having a Bitcoin reserve and the kids of the president go out and build American Bitcoin, they call it American Bitcoin. It is all about Bitcoin reserve. Yeah. So very interesting, very interesting. It's a very thin line of it's a very thin line. Like pretty much people already do something like this, insider trading, but it's a very thin line where you are doing things because that's where the future is leading versus you are doing things because you are the rule maker and you know what is about to happen, so we should be opportunists and take advantage of it. Industrial scale Bitcoin mining and building a strategic Bitcoin reserve. American Bitcoin aims to achieve 50 plus exahash per second with a fleet efficiency of less than 15. Yeah, what is J per TH? And plans to go public via stock for stock merger with Griffin Digital Mining, trading under the ticker ABTC. HUD 8 will remain its exclusive infrastructure and operations partner, generating stable revenue through long term agreements. HUD 8 reported a 134.3 million net loss due to large scale investments in ASIC fleet upgrades, boosted its hash rate by 79% and held 9,000 Bitcoin by 23. Okay, facility in Texas. Vega Data Center initializing site work at the River Bend Data Center, acquired 63 megawatt site in Culberson County. Through its high-rise AI subsidiary, HUD manages 1,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs for AI workloads and is expanding its GPU as a service vertical, which is now fully operational and revenue generating. Ashir Keynote leads strategic initiatives emphasizing agility and cost efficiency. Matt Prusak, CEO of Bitcoin, American Bitcoin. Scale and capacity. Largest Bitcoin miners, 1.2 gigawatt of energy capacity. Rivaling companies like Mara Holdings, CleanSpark, Bitfarms. Okay. Holds more self-mined Bitcoin than any other publicly traded miner globally, providing direct exposure to Bitcoin's price appreciation. Diversified revenue. Beyond mining, HUD 8 generates income from HPC, co-location, cloud services, and hosting, reducing reliance on Bitcoin price volatility. Uses proprietary software and firmware optimizations to enhance mining efficiency and dynamically adjust hash rate based on economic conditions. Financial losses. Okay, environmental concerns, drone scrutiny, mining to air pollution. Okay, political controversy. Yes, this is the big one. Potential conflict of interest, ventures ties to broader Trump crypto projects. Stock performance rose 6.4%, fallen 42.8% year to date. Hedge fund interest, 13 hedge funds held positions in Hut 8, ranking at 4th among profitable cryptocurrency stocks. Future plans. American Bitcoin growth aims to become the world's largest, most efficient pure play Bitcoin miner, targeting 50 plus exahashes per second. Power portfolio development. Okay. Interesting. Hmm. Tell me all about Strategy by Michael Saylor. So Michael Saylor ran a company called MicroStrategy, bought the strategy name, and yeah, it has been rebranded. Formerly MicroStrategy, MSGR, publicly traded company that has transformed from a business intelligence software provider into the world's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, branding itself as a Bitcoin treasury company. Pioneered a bold corporate Bitcoin acquisition strategy since August 2020, leveraging debt and equity offerings to amass significant Bitcoin holdings. 89, Michael Saylor and Sanju Bansal. 89, this is kind of crazy. Like, for 11 years, they ran the company, and then he's like, okay, our company serves the mission of buying more Bitcoin. Initially as a business intelligence software company, headquarters Tyson Corners, Virginia. February 25, rebranded to Strategy to reflect the pivot to Bitcoin-centric identity, adopting the Bitcoin B symbol as its logo and an orange color scheme symbolizing energy, intelligence, and Bitcoin. Wow. Energy, intelligence, and Bitcoin. Business segments, Bitcoin Treasury. The core focus was Strategy holding over 2.7% of the total Bitcoin supply. So it already holds 2.7% of the total Bitcoin supply. Wow. 2.7%. What is that? 10% would be 2.7 million. 5% would be 1.35 million. Half of that would be 1.35, 700 million. Wow. 650 million, let's say. 700, let's say. Wow. So they hold, 700,000. They hold 700,000 Bitcoin. Provides enterprise analytics. 700,000. Wow. So what's the value? Calculator. No. Okay. Anyways, just multiply by 100,000. That is crazy. What is the number? 70 billion? 700,000. 700,000 times 100,000. What is this crazy number? 700,000 times 100,000. 7e to the power 10. That is 70 billion. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's right. 70 billion. Wow. Okay, I was right. We don't do public maths. We verify the public maths. All right. Provides enterprise analytics, cloud-based services, and mobile software, generating 111.1 million revenue Q1 25. Subscription services up 61.6% year over year. Strategy is the largest corporate Bitcoin holder globally, surpassing competitors like Mara Holdings and Tether Back 21. Stock is a proxy for Bitcoin exposure amplified by leverage. shifted strategies corporate strategy in 2020 to adopt Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset, aiming to hedge against inflation and maximize shareholder value. Intelligent leverage involves raising capital through equity and debt to buy Bitcoin, creating a self reinforcing cycle of accumulation and price appreciation. Creating a self reinforcing cycle of accumulation and price appreciation. Bitcoin acquisition holds 576 BTC, acquired for 35.63 billion at an average price of 67,000 per Bitcoin. Wow. So acquired around 7,000 Bitcoin for 765 million at 100,000 per Bitcoin. Wow. Q1 300,000 via a 21 billion stock offering. Total value holdings worth over 59 billion, representing 2.7% of Bitcoin's total supply. Strategy measures performance via BTC yield, the peer-to-peer percentage change in Bitcoin holdings relative to diluted shares. Yielded 13.7% with a target of 25% annually. Equity offerings issued millions of shares to fund Bitcoin purchases, 42.3 million Class A shares for 15 billion and 6.48 million shares in early 2025 for 2.4 billion. Convertible notes issued 6 billion convertible notes, attracting hedge funds like Calamos advisors for arbitrage strategies due to MSTR's high volatility. Preferred stock introduced SGRK and SGRF preferred shares, raising 711 million March 25, doubled to 84 billion in 25, to buy 42 billion in Bitcoin by 27. Capital plan. Dilution strategy. Despite diluting shareholders, Bitcoin's 720% rise since August 2020 has driven MSTR stock up, outperforming the S&P 500. Wow. Financial engineering strategies. Stock acts as a leveraged Bitcoin ETF, amplifying exposure through debt and equity raises. Volatility is vitality. Philosophy leverages Bitcoin's 24/7 trading to sustain market interest and fuel a feedback loop. Capital raises, Bitcoin purchases, sentiment boost, ETF amplification. Capital raises, Bitcoin purchases, sentiment boost, ETF amplification. Hedge funds use convertible arbitrage to capitalize on MSTR's volatility, holding over 130 million in notes. Bitcoin as a global asset. Saylor envisions Bitcoin as a 200 trillion asset class by 2045, serving as a settlement layer for an AI-driven economy. Definitely this 24/7 trading aspect is huge because of the feedback loop. If you have, to sustain market interest and fuel a feedback loop. This is very interesting. Saylor envisions Bitcoin as a 200 trillion dollar asset class by 2045, serving as a settlement layer for an AI-driven economy. He advocates a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve to cement U.S. financial dominance. Oh, so he's already working with American Bitcoin now. Okay. Saylor suggests holding or burning Bitcoin could grant economic immortality by preserving wealth indefinitely. Financial performance. 5.8 billion year to date with unrealized Q2 gains of 8 billion due to lower product support sales, but subscription services grew 61.6%. Net loss 4.2 billion from Bitcoin revaluation under new fair value accounting rules. Cash position strengthened to 60.3 million. Stock performance traded at 381. 490% surge in 2024. Market cap reached 95 billion, surpassing companies like Starbucks. Risk. Debt obligation. Convertible bonds due September 27 could force Bitcoin sales if markets sour. This is crazy. 200 trillion strategy. US Bitcoin strategic reserve and immortality. Volatility. Saylor admits shareholders could suffer. Bitcoin falls 90% and stays low for 4 to 5 years. Admits strategy shareholders will suffer. If Bitcoin were to fall 90% and stay there for 4 to 5 years, class action alleges misleading statements about Bitcoin strategy, risk, and crypto accounting rules. Wow, no comparison. 600,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin. Wow. Acquires Bitcoin via equity debt raises acting as leverage Bitcoin proxy. Mines Bitcoin at scale, hosts miners, and builds reserves. Michael Saylor, Fong Lee, Eric Trump, Matt Prusek, Asher Ginut, public since 98, 2025. Lawsuits, dilution, risk, debt exposure, tax fraud, settlement, Trump family conflicts of interest, environmental concerns. Bitcoin is a 200 trillion asset class, US strategic reserve, AI settlement layer, efficient mining, strategic Bitcoin reserve for US economic strength. There are legal issues. Strategy misled investors about Bitcoin strategy, risk, and crypto accounting. Whoa, very recent. Okay. Tax fraud settlement. Saylor paid 40 million to settle a tax fraud suit. SEC fraud charges. Saylor settled for 350,000 penalties and 8.3 million in disgorgement for misreporting financials. Market concerns. House of cards with leverage ETFs, MSGU, T-Rex amplifying risk. Some view Saylor's strategy as speculator tying corporate fate to Bitcoin's volatility. During the dot-com bubble, MSCI stock soared, but crashed 62% in a day after restating financials in 2000, costing Saylor $6 billion. Saylor's resilience in rebuilding MicroStrategy informs his current high-risk Bitcoin bet. Dual MIT degrees in aeronautics, astronautics, and science, technology, and society. Career: founded MicroStrategy in 1989, and after consulting for DuPont, focusing on data mining and business intelligence. Okay. Founded Alarm.com and Angel.com, sold 410 million. Authored The Mobile Wave and bestseller predicting mobile tech's impact. Runs Saylor Academy, offering free online education to over 2 million students. We use Bitcoin as a tool for financial sovereignty and US geopolitical dominance, urging policies like a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Hedge fund interests. Firms like Linden Advisors and Millennium Management invest in MSTR's convertible notes for arbitrage, sentiment, goals. Okay. Michael Saylor quotes. Let's see what we get. Outspoken founder and executive chairman of strategy, is known for his bold philosophical statements about Bitcoin economics and technology. Bitcoin is the apex property of the human race. It's the only thing you can own that no one can take from you, and it's going to last forever. Bitcoin is the apex property of the human race. It's the only thing you can own that no one can take from you, and it's going to last forever. Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace run by incorruptible software, offering a global, affordable, simple, and secure savings account to billions of people. A bank in cyberspace run by incorruptible software, offering a global, affordable, simple, and secure savings account to billions of people. If you're not impressed with a picture of the future where Bitcoin is a $200 trillion asset class, you are not paying attention. Bitcoin is the only asset that offers you economic immortality. If you hold it, you're not losing purchasing power over time. There's no second best crypto asset. Bitcoin is the only one that matters. On strategies, Bitcoin strategy and leverage. Volatility is vitality. Bitcoin's 24/7 trading creates a feedback loop that fuels our strategy, which has driven MSGR's 3,313% stock return since 2020. We are not a software company anymore. We are a Bitcoin investment bank. Our goal is to acquire 42 billion in Bitcoin by 2027. Every share issuance, every bond is a step toward that. Outlines aggressive capital raises. Example: 21 billion stock offering in Q1 2025, contrasting with American Bitcoin's merger-driven public listing. Dilution is a small price to pay when Bitcoin's rising 720%. Shareholders win when we buy more. Dilution is a small price to pay when Bitcoin's rising 720%. Shareholders win when we buy more. BTC yield is our North Star. We aim for 25% annual growth in Bitcoin per share. BTC yield is our North Star. We aim for 25% annual growth in Bitcoin per share. Flat currency is a melting ice cube. Fiat currency, sorry. Inflation is a tax on the poor, and Bitcoin is the antidote. Fiat currency is a melting ice cube. Inflation is a tax on the poor, and Bitcoin is the antidote. The dollar is a liability of a bankrupt system. The dollar is a liability of a bankrupt system. Bitcoin is an asset backed by math and truth. Inflation isn't 2%, it's 20% when you measure it in real assets like energy, housing, or Bitcoin. On Bitcoin's geopolitical and strategic importance, the US must adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve or we will lose the financial war to China and Russia. Bitcoin is the Manhattan Project of finance. It's a weapon of freedom and prosperity. Nations that accumulate Bitcoin will dominate the 21st century. Those that don't will fade. Bitcoin is the settlement layer for an AI-driven economy. It's the only asset that scales with intelligence. The mobile wave was the first act. Bitcoin is the second act, digitizing capital itself. In 100 years, Bitcoin will be the global reserve currency, or we'll all be on Mars using something else. If Bitcoin goes to zero, we'll lose everything, but if it goes to 5 million, we'll own the future. I have lost 6 billion in a day before. You don't bet big if you're afraid of losing. Critics call it a house of cards. I call it a rocket ship to the moon. Philosophical and motivational. Bitcoin is hope encoded in software. It's the promise of a better future. Energy plus intelligence equals wealth. Energy plus intelligence equals wealth. Bitcoin is the purest expression of that equation. MIT honed analytical mindset. Energy plus intelligence equals wealth is the purest expression of that equation. The only way to win is to think harder, move faster, and bet bigger than everyone else. Think harder, move faster, and bet bigger than everyone else. Aggressive approach. Seen in strategies, 84 billion capital plan versus American Bitcoins.